What's going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a fantastic Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. We had a fantastic day so far. We went to the Pancake House. I'm going to be working tonight, which is another thing. We got to figure out our stream. Am I going to do a stream late tonight? Probably, most likely, we'll do a stream late tonight, or we won't do a stream at all. I'm not going to make a post about it because I don't know if I can fully commit to it. But if I do a stream, hopefully, we're doing a Valentine's Day event at the bar that I run and operate. Hopefully we can end that early and I can come home and do a stream. I am going to be buying some 151, and so let's go ahead and get right into today's topic. Today we are talking about the fact that there are still incredible Pokemon finds, treasures, hauls out there waiting to be found. And we're going to talk about some of those phenomenal finds lately that have been talked about in the hobby. Rattle Pokemon, one of my favorite Pokemon channels. He does a lot of great coverage, regardless what the costs are to him, his mental health, his time. He puts a lot of love and effort into this hobby, into this community, trying to let us know what's going on. And while I didn't learn this information from him, his channel supplemented it, and he talked about it a little bit more. So first off, before we get into that, into some crazy stuff that's been going on in the hobby, some stuff that's been found, some stuff that's been unearthed, some stuff that is already gone in auction or currently in auction. I'm not sure. I couldn't find the actual auction, but some insanely priced items, which is just going back into what I talked about yesterday with the deep pockets, the new money coming into this hobby, and how this hobby is changing. And someone described it well in the comments, in the conspiracy theorist way of like, this hobby is going from a collecting fun side hobby, collecting cards, playing the game, to a country club of collecting and high-end deep pocket collectors. But we're going to go into that in a minute. First, I want to start off by saying that I am very happy that Best Buy has 151 product available. I'm very happy. I have seen other channels talk about how here's your 151 opportunity. Go get it. It's everywhere. It's very easy to get. I still disagree with that. Okay. We went to Best Buy today to see if we could pick up some booster bundles in store. They didn't have any in that store. They didn't have any. They checked the entire city of Best Buys. Not a single Best Buy has 151 in it. So when we're talking about the availability locally and to be able to go pick this product up, it might be in other parts of the country where they can ship it here, but it is not locally available anywhere. 151 cannot be found anywhere. And as maybe it should not be found anywhere easily, considering the fact that 151 is a special set and it's already out of print. We've got Paradox Rift. Now we've had Paldean Fates, right? So it's two sets back, and before we know it, we'll be into Temporal Forces. So there's no reason why 151 would be available, but saying that it's very easily available right now is just not the case. Now, I am going to try and order some online, but before I went ahead and told everybody, go ahead and order it. 151 is in stock. I don't know how long it's going to be in stock for. I don't know if orders will be canceled, if stuff will be shipped. I have never bought from Best Buy, so I'm going to go ahead and give that a shot and buy some stuff from Best Buy. But I just wanted to kick off the video talking about 151 and how I think this is a great opportunity with Best Buy to be able to order that stuff. I think it's limit 1 or 3 per person. I'm about to try that out. If I have to refresh it multiple times or order from a separate account and have Diana make an account and order more, we'll do that because I do want to keep opening 151. I still strongly feel like 151 is going to be the best set of the year and pretty much putting the team on its back. 151 seems to be the only set that I'm having fun opening. It seems like there's so much value in it. The holos sell, the reverses sell. Everything in the set sells. The illustrations go for a pretty chunk of change to the point of getting 2 or 3 packs worth of value back out of selling one illustration card. And then the SIRs are still holding up very well on the market despite all the product that's out there. 151 is still dominating. Anyways, that's not what this is about, but I'm just excited to get back into opening 151. I have not had the best experience with Paldean Fates so far. That is fully just a perspective from my experience, right? A lot of people have loved Paldean Fates. It's not really for me. Even if I pull the SIRs, it's still not really for me. But I said what I said I was going to do. I give every single set a chance. I ordered it. We opened up almost half of a case worth Nothing really too notable except for the Snorlax. We did get a baby shiny Snorlax. That was pretty cool. But okay, the reason you guys are all here, let's go ahead and get into it. So first up, now you guys can easily look this up. It is absolutely current news. It's relevant. And this topic that I'm about to bring up has just happened. So you can look this up on Reddit right now and see exactly what I'm talking about. I may or may not put some images in this video just to show you guys exactly what I'm referring to. So if we put some images in, this is going to be the part where we put them in. If not, let's keep going. There's a massive Reddit haul in which somebody whose parent had worked in some big box retailer that had Pokemon stuff sitting unwanted, unpurchased, had it sitting in stock in the back of some store. Maybe it was Walmart or Kmart. That's not really specified. We don't really know where they came from, Toys R Us, whatever. But these are full booster boxes, maybe some kind of hobby shop. Either way, this person says that their parent, mom or dad, I can't remember if it's specified, was working for some type of big box retailer that worked with Pokemon cards and distributing, and they had a bunch of product. They either were gifted this product or just decided to grab this product and sit on it, which makes a lot of sense considering in 1999 and 2000 there was a massive Pokemon craze. They were calling it in the news Pokemania, which sounds like something they would call it in the news. But anyways, you can imagine and assume that most parents that saw that Pokemon craze, even if their kids weren't into it, you know, they were like, man, that stuff was really popular at one point. This is probably a good opportunity to take some of it and sit on it. And that's exactly what they did. They took a bunch of product, they sat on it, or it was given to them because it was unsold, unwanted. And we've got all kinds of stuff. So we've got stickers, we've got multiple booster boxes, jungle boxes, fossil boxes. All of this stuff was just unearthed recently, guys. There is a stack, and this, because this stuff is a little specific and I want you guys to actually see it to believe it, that there's still insane amounts of Pokemon cards out there. You know, I always speculate that some of the most popular vintage sets are just dwindling and they're very scarce, but there's still people out there with jungle, fossil, and right, those sets are a lot more common, probably a lot higher print runs for those common sets, but still, it makes you wonder, someone just unearthed boxes and boxes. It honestly looks like a vintage pallet worth of product. It's insane. And the value, you know, today of all that stuff, it's got to be, depending on how many booster boxes, I think I counted 5 vintage booster boxes. You want to set those around $5,000 a pop if they're not first edition. Let's just throw it out there, about $5,000 a pop per booster box. 5 boxes right there. Tons of other stuff in there, but let's just say 5 booster boxes alone. That's $25,000. Easily, if somebody found that in their basement. And if they were to get these cards graded, open them themselves, get them graded, this could be an incredible start to someone's modern day vintage collection. I think that this person should not sell any of it. I think that they should cherish it and open some of it, like if not all of it. You know, just keep a couple boxes sealed, open some of it. That's an amazing piece of history and treasure that someone just found in their basement. Honestly, it's incredible. It's incredible. I spend all this money trying to make my display look nice and collect my own cards, and I have had my own stories, which real quick, I'm going to share this with you. I think I'm done on that Reddit post. I might post it up above, but I'm going to share a quick little story with you guys. I have bought some amazing collections in my time in the hobby and some treasure out there, and I've turned some stuff down. There is a binder for $5,000, and the only card that haunts my mind is there's a Neo Discovery first edition Umbreon mint. And honestly, that card in a 10 I think is like $5 or $6 grand. Now, I considered everything at 9 pricing, and so I didn't really want to take the risk. It could have even been 8s too, but these cards were kept in a league judge's, in a local league judge's collection. You know, he got a lot of free stuff, a lot of promotional stuff, and he was also a collector, and he bindered everything. Nothing was sleeved, which was really a concern for me, but I passed up a collection for $5 grand, which, thinking today how much money I'm spending on my Gold Star collection and just going after very specific cards, $5,000 does not look like very much that I could have bought someone's whole collection. I could have made an incredible video. It would have been an incredible story, an incredible piece of content. I have had the privilege of running into some collections in the $100, $200, $300 range. The most I ever spent on a collection so far was $400. There was another collection in the very beginning that I offered, I think, $1,000 for, which was super low ball. I just knew they didn't care about the cards, but quickly people get involved in the value and the money of it, and they looked into the value of their cards and they're like, no, it was an entire Shadowless base set. It was 2 Shadowless base sets complete. I know what you're thinking, Orion Shadowless base sets complete and they were duplicates? Because they were brothers. Now, I was getting just back into collecting. I didn't realize the value of this stuff. And I had just bought a crappy played vintage Charizard Shadowless for like $300. So I really, I wanted to get a good deal and not pay anything close to market. And I thought $1,000 cash, that's kind of hard to walk away from. They walked away from it quick. And they came back saying they would take $3,000. That's another regret that I have, is not taking that $3,000 offer for 2 complete with extras of Shadowless base set. Now, there were no first editions whatsoever. The $5,000 collection, however, was full of first editions all the way, I think, to Neo Discovery. I think Neo Discovery was the last set that he was working on when he got out, the local league judge. But I did buy this one collection for super cheap, $200. I sold most of it at Collecticon and cashed out, and I rolled that over into my first Grail, which was the Crystal Zard and the Rayquaza. But I mainly put that towards the Crystal Zard because I literally traded the big stack of holos I got from that collection for that Crystal Zard, which I've now flipped and put it into a 10. But I sold off everything. And one thing I want to say, and then we'll continue because there's a lot more meat to this video. One of my biggest regrets, honestly, with buying these collections, they were easy money and I had such little money that I put into them. But this is why I understand why people hold on to their cards for forever, especially if they get a really good cost basis on them. The story and the sentimental value and how cheap I paid for a lot of those holos. I have a whole stack of first editions that came from some of those collections. This one girl had a great Japanese English binder, had tons of stuff, and a Japanese Charizard, which ended up being dented. So I overpaid, I think, on that binder. But it had a bunch of other first editions that I've still kept. I kept a good handful of some of these treasures that I found. But one big regret I have was that I didn't just keep the collections together. I didn't just keep them in their own collections, because one day it would be so cool to look back and have a box of collection purchases that I'm able to review and go over, you guys, like fun stories that I can share with you guys. And if you go through my whole YouTube and you have the time of the day to look through 700 almost videos, you can find some of those collection purchases that I made and talk about and go over all the cool stuff that I found. You can find that stuff in the archives of this channel, but I really wish I would have kept it all together, because the stories and going over and recapping those finds and how cheap they were at that time is absolutely incredible. And it's kind of a good lead into this last piece of this video, and talking about some of the cards that have surfaced in this hobby recently that have quickly rose to the top of the trophy grail card status. I call them trophies, not to say that they're from championships or anything like that, but just that they are absolute legendary cards to add to your collection. And based on how scarce they seem and how few have been reported, I think that this next topic is fitting to call these kind of trophy grail cards. But one thing I want to leave with, well, two things, even though I know I continue to talk. There was this one bin that I bought from an old guy that I met on eBay. So I met a guy on eBay who wanted to work off eBay, and we were both local in Charlotte. So it worked out amazingly. He came to my bar. First time he came in with his stuff, we talked about what he might have, what he might bring in. Didn't see him. 2 weeks later, he comes in, or 3 weeks later, he comes in with a bin, or a week later, I don't remember perfectly. He comes in, the bin has vintage packs in it that have been opened, but the original holos are still in those packs that have been clipped with scissors. So it was really, really cool to look over that. Had some, it had a Thunderstorm gift box, a starter gift box. Those were open, but they had all the packs, the coin, everything, the DVD in them, and those are listed right now on Mercari. So I am begrudgingly selling this stuff because I do need to roll it into bigger ticket items. But that was a massive regret I had, and it has a ton of vintage bulk that I still have. In fact, I can definitely bring that up and show you guys real quick. One of the great treasures that I have kept from all these collections that I've bought, I've compiled and kept all the extra bulk of vintage that was in there. All of these were just like, whoo, mint condition, like just simple stuff, but still cool. Like this is the, see if it'll focus in on this. This is a mint condition, just a regular non-hollow rare Articuno from Fossil. But there's just tons of cards like that in here that I think I'm just going to hold on to for the long term because they're one of the last remaining pieces of those big collections that I bought. And I have a lot of that bulk sitting nicely organized in these collections. Like this is perfect. I actually have some of the packs right here from those collections. So there were packs, there were theme decks, there were about 30 hollows. There weren't a lot of hollows, but there were a lot of cool box items. And that plastic bin is still at the bottom of a bunch of junk right now. I still kept the plastic bin, but just to give you guys an idea, here's the packs that were cut open and in that box. Right there are old relics everywhere. And in that Reddit post, there's a bubble wrapped or like saran wrapped stack of these Team Rocket packs. The Team Rocket logo is probably one of the best logos as far as like the artwork on vintage packs goes, and it's all black, like black and red. Yo, Team Rocket probably should be my favorite vintage set, like the Team Rocket first edition. I love Team Rocket. I love Giovanni. I think he's just a super cool Pokemon mafioso. I just really, really like him. So this is probably my spirit animal pack per se. But yeah, I like Team Rocket a lot. But there was a massive stack of Team Rocket sealed packs wrapped in like saran wrap in this Reddit post. Hopefully I will have posted that stuff up. If not, you guys can find this on Reddit. It's very easy. Just look up crazy Pokemon haul. It's probably one of the first things that pops up on Reddit. Okay, and then this was one of my favorite things that I kept out of all the stuff that I ended up selling and giving away. I had a massive stack of about 150 or so gold stamp War Turtles, which that's what this card is. I'm trying to get it to focus in there. If you guys can see that properly, that is a double gold stamp. So this is an error card, but that is a double gold stamp. Right now, gold stamp Wizards of the Coast cards, and this one came from Top Deck magazine, but there's a whole set of gold stamp Wizards cards. Personally, considering the fact of how much I love gold stars, I should try and go after completing a gold stamp collection because these are really, really cool. But this is one of the coolest things to me is the fact that it has a double stamp factory error. I sold 2 other copies of these for pretty much what the whole collection costed me. I sold that twice over, so I pretty much made my money back on that collection twice just from these error cards. But this one I kept just as a memento and a reminder that there is still treasures, still really amazing stuff out there. And this is not like a one of one in the world type card, right? Not even the one of 3 that I found. I have spoke to other high-end collectors and collectors that have been in the hobby a long time, and they've told me that this is a very rare error, but they have seen it before. I didn't find anything online about this error, and I've asked people plenty of times, can you talk about this Top Deck magazine double stamp error? I think I have something very, very special here, but so far no one's really told me that this is all that special, even though based on the sales that I've already had of it, people really wanted this. You know, the last sale I had, I think was, I want to say like 200 or 250, maybe it was even 300 for the last double stamp error that I sold. But anyways, there's treasure out there, and that's my whole point of that. And then additionally, like I said before, keeping this stuff could be worth way more than taking the money, right? Keeping it and having that story is really fun. Part of the most fun in this hobby is the treasure hunt. And I think it would be ill-advised to listen to people saying that, like, there's nothing out there left. Like, you're not going to find this stuff anymore. Like, everyone's already scoured everything. Wrong. There's still so much product out here waiting to be found. People have left stuff in their garages, basements, attics, and so far, in terms of the packaging that they did, Wizards of the Coast did a really good job preserving this stuff, because honestly, a lot of it ends up preserved very well. I've even purchased theme decks that had flood damage from being in someone's basement in an area that got flooded, Florida, or massive flood in Texas, wherever, I don't know. But I've bought flooded items before where the cards ended up being in perfect condition, that I wanted to keep those perfect sealed condition decks in the boxes I just threw out. So Pokemon has done a really good job, I would say, even into early 2000s, sealing all this stuff up so it does do well against the weather and different environments. And so I would say, I wonder what in comparison to vintage packaging and sealing, I wonder what that quality is like compared to today's packaging and sealing. Probably not very different, but it would be curious to know how, like, a modern booster box would hold up in flood damage, or how a modern deck would hold up in flood damage. That'd be interesting. Stupid thing, but okay. Last big meaty part of this video that you guys have been waiting for, the test print legendary birds. Now, the test print legendary birds are the similar art style as the international mega phone battle. I already know I'm messing this up. But basically, the artwork that's on these, and I may or may not post that. You can find the test print birds very easily. Just go to Rattle's channel, look up, the test print birds. It's 3 weeks ago he made a video on this, and you can educate yourself on it if you want to hear more about it. This is just kind of a quick recap, but the art style is off of those birds. Then they became test print runs for Fossil Set, and one of them is the Team Rockets Moltres, or Rockets Moltres. It's the same exact artwork. So it's pretty cool to see these. A lot of people thought they were going to be fake. Some people were skeptical about it. They have a glossy finish. But when I looked at them, I immediately thought that's the real deal. We're just uncovering this stuff now. So the story. So right now, I think either there's an auction already or there's a current auction. Because I watched, I think, Pokemon Classics video, and he talked about it yesterday. That the auction was currently, his words, not mine, the auction was currently at 25,000, which means either it ended around there or it went even higher than that. Somebody with very, very deep pockets bought these test print legendary birds. So they come from the early Game Boy games. They were the digital version of these cards, and I guess somehow worked their way into the international phone battle, and then also became test prints for the original Fossil Set. So Takumi Akabane, I think I'm saying that right, Takumi Akabane, one of the original developers of the game, creators, he ended up posting something after LinkDub. I think LinkDub is the Instagram handle. We're just gonna say Link. This Link character, he ended up posting the whole story and putting that out there so that all of us could read up on this, and that it would be the history of these cards would be preserved. But I believe after that, there's a golden auction that's from, I want to say it's from LinkDub. I think he found a set of them in some kind of super cheap auction that no one else was interested in. He referenced that he sat out on some other test print type cards back in 2014, and that he just was willing to take the chance. And if they were fake, at least he took a chance and he had something really interesting and unique that no one else had. I think that's really, really cool that someone took a chance on something, even if they thought, is this even real? Because it was a weird listing. Apparently the seller had all kinds of stuff listed. This was a basement find, kind of like the recent Reddit that I just talked about, where they had all this stuff in a basement. Then shortly after, LinkDubs posted that, which I believe, if I'm putting all of these parts together, that he graded his through PSA, which rarely grades like error cards, but they graded it as test print cards, and they're the first set. So Golden is really milking the fact that they are the first set and the first in population in PSA. But from what we know, from what Rattle insinuated, there are at least 3 sets out there right now, and I can almost guarantee there are even more sets out there if a random set just popped up out of nowhere, costing someone nearly nothing. But shortly after that, Takumi Akabane, and the reason I bring him up is not only was he one of the creators and developers, but he also had maybe a different or the same Moltres copy. I think all of the Moltres test print copies, only the Moltres, not the Zapdos and not the Articuno, but only the Moltres had a barcode kind of running across it. Now, Takume's may have been the same or slightly different, but I believe it has a digital print of 97 across Moltres' face. So feel free to add in the comments, contribute to this, help me be a little bit more factual. I go over this stuff with a limited amount of time after spending it with my family. And I'm really looking at auctions all day, looking at cards, talking with other collectors. That's how I spend a lot of my time. But I found these stories interesting, and while I normally wouldn't bring up like news and these stories that are kind of off to the side and don't really align with my own collection goals and things I'm trying to share and teach to others, these are cool stories, and they kind of go into this whole topic today of like, there's still treasure to be found out there. There's still incredible things out there that are waiting for you to discover them in the Pokemon world. And that's super exciting, because even the little guy can win in Pokemon, right? Like, even the collections that I found with all these, all these Wartortle gold stamps, I was able to acquire, this double stamp error card out of a cheap collection and sell everything off and still keep a beautiful piece of history. And so for me, this is probably one of the most historic cards that I own, in all honesty, because it's just so unique. It's so unique. And I would bet that if I got it graded, it would probably be one of the highest condition ones to get graded. I don't know how many are out there. That's speculation, but so far no one has come forth talking about this card. So I feel very special about it, and even a part of me regrets selling the other ones because I could have just kept them in the same collection all together as a trio. But I think it's cool. Share a little bit of the love. Some other people out there have these. You could be, the other people in the world that have this card, same as me, or there could be more of them from what I've been told. There are more of them, but I have yet to see it or hear about it. Anyways, I thought that was pretty cool. Golden wrote a whole in-depth piece on, the importance of these cards. And I will say, it is the race to the bottom, even with these Grail cards, these trophy cards, right? Or I guess the race to the top, more or less. They're trying to get the most they can get because it is the first submission of a trio sequential set of these test print cards, these legendary birds. The first time it's been done. Once it gets done again and again, I don't know if the price is going to continue rising from popularity or if the price actually goes down. So it'll be very interesting to hear if anybody discloses if they purchased this set and lets the rest of the community know. But yeah, this is definitely, I would not be surprised if Dubsy ended up being the one to purchase this set. I just looked into this guy. He has an incredibly profound collection. From what I understand, he's anonymous. So unless you've met him in person, you've never met him. But he buys a lot of these kind of crazy Grail type cards. So I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up in a very serious high-end collector's collection, that people that collect for the history and kind of treat it like art pieces. Anyways, yeah, that was pretty cool. I hope I got that semi-factually correct, but I thought that was pretty cool. I will try and link some crappy images that I took on my phone and then split into this video. I'll try and have those up so that you guys at least have something you can reference, even though I do sometimes just reference stuff casually and expect people to kind of look into it themselves if they're really interested in what I'm talking about. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I enjoyed talking about it. It feels nice to talk about something fresh that's something that doesn't feel like it's just regurgitated content over and over. It feels good to talk about, different topics and stuff that's kind of the news. Anyways, guys, don't stop hunting one card at a time or one collection at a time. There is so much stuff out there waiting for you to find it. Anyways, peace out. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought.